Lynn has called from Penrith to carry on our conversation about people who bought properties as leaseholders only to find hidden costs and costs that grew and grew. Lynn, what's been your experience?
Hello there. Well, I purchased my property in September 2016, and at the time I was told that I could purchase my freehold after 2 years for a couple of £1,000, which I believe a lot of people countrywide were told. I also, on my reservation agreement, was told that I would be paying £100 per annum for grass cutting because the local governments were no longer adopting, they couldn't afford to cut the grass, so basically that was that charge. So I went ahead, I sort of said, well, are all the phases, because I was buying all phase one, going to be leasehold? And they said, oh yes, they are, definitely, most definitely. So I went ahead and purchased. In April 2017, I was mortified when phase two was sold and marketed as freehold. So I went down to the office, and actually the sales lady was sort of quite shocked when I actually also produced my management fees, which were actually for my grass cutting, which they actually weren't doing a very good job of either, for nearly 3 times that amount. And these costs are just rising and rising. And what people aren't realising, they are still misselling of these big developers, because people are going into these offices, sales offices, they're advertised as freehold. Well, I'll tell you now, once they leave that site and the management companies come in and take over those costs, they just spiral. At the moment, they are unregulated and uncapped, and the government...
So, sorry, Lynn, are you also saying that they're advertised, if you first look at buying a place, they're advertised as freehold, and then they just morph into leasehold?
They don't morph into leasehold, no, they're called leasehold because they have a TP1 document attached, and they actually have rent charges attached. And so these management charges for the grass cutting that they cite actually have a lot of onerous clauses attached to them as well. So people are not buying true freehold. And this also is an issue that needs to be highlighting, because they are also misselling. And this goes, widely against with a lot of the developers. And unfortunately, people are not aware of this yet, and they need to be, because although I've got a leasehold house, one of the reasons I don't really want to buy my freehold is because it's not a true freehold. The other thing I would like to say is I had my I had my leasehold for purchasing offered to me by 50 times ground rent by Persimmon, and then 25 times, which was much more than the £2,000 that I was sold as. So, that was nearly sort of, with their fees, that would have been around £5,000. This would also have kept all the onerous clauses on, so I decided that I would wait for this CMA to hopefully bring justice for all the poor people who've been missold by all these developers, and a lot more than the 4 that were actually highlighted. There were a lot more developers.
And how are you doing about it? How are you coping with all this?
Well, I actually, I'm not obviously a member of the National Leasehold campaign, and the ladies there and the team, everybody that's a member are doing a sterling job, and I can't thank them enough, as well as the late Louis Burns and the Leasehold Knowledge Partnership. We all obviously are working together. I went down to the protest in London and protested against it. I also went to the round table at Parliament as the Leasehold APPG to put the evidence across. Unfortunately, that evidence was given by the APPG, which is actually...
The all-party parliamentary group.
Absolutely, yeah, and this is what the outcome is. So the CMA now just need to take these 4 and show an example of the mis-selling, and this is, for me, is worse than PPE. And it's mis-selling of so unjust for people out there. And especially, you're getting people involved with taxpayers' money, with the Help to Buy, first-time buyers. I mean, I round that round table, I listened to awful stories where people got caught in flats and they can't afford to move out of them now because they're not worth the money they paid for them. We've got a house for sale on our phase now, a leasehold house. Nobody's interested at the moment. Obviously word's getting out now, and this is what we wanted to highlight, to stop people falling into the same trap that we've all been caught in by mis-selling.
Well, let's keep our eyes on the prize, I suppose. Let's keep our eyes on these developments, because the CMA is right behind you, and that hasn't been the case, has it? That a lot of you have had to do a lot of work before the Competition and Markets Authority reached the point they reached today. where they say there has been concerning practice. They name a number of developments. Barratt Developments, one of the 4 house builders named, they say the group is committed to putting customers first and will continue to cooperate with the CMA whilst it completes its investigation. Taylor Wimpey says the same. It will cooperate with the CMA. Persimmon said it stopped selling leasehold houses in 2017. Any customers of a Persimmon leasehold property in the last 6 years have been given the right to buy their lease at below market value, and many have done so, it said. And Countryside Properties said it is committed to resolving this issue to the satisfaction of our customers. More of your calls in a few moments. It's 2:45.
This is LBC.